Welcome to the Black Delegates Podcast. Today's date is April the 22nd, 2018. I am your host, the Black Ryan. I'm here with the usuals, G. What up, G?
What up, what up?
The box wine poppy himself, Paul. What up, Paul?
Howdy, fellas. Howdy, fellas.
You about to get kicked off 30 seconds in. And Ghetto Phenom, what's good, man?
What's good with it?
All right, so everybody made it back for another week, man. Hopefully y'all had a good week. But it's always good to check in with y'all and see what y'all been up to. So let's start with Paul. How was your week in pretend whiteness?
My week was absolute trash, man. Absolute trash. Nothing but sick kids and work. That's it. So you can move on from me pretty quickly. I'll just say that I do enjoy coming on the show because every week I find how trash I am and how I might be slowly becoming alt-right. Every time I have this conversation, every time I listen back to the podcast, I think like I'm woke, and then I listen to the podcast and I'm like, man, I'm trash. So I think this is just a long con on me to eventually figure out this whole podcast is just basically a long con to figure out, like, yeah, Paul is trash. Paul's not deserving of any spot on the black delegation.
So I am going to submit you with the nickname alt-right Paul.
Alt-right Poppy.
Hey, that's totally cool.
Alt-right Poppy, that's even better.
That's totally cool. Just don't make that the title of the show this time. Every time I look at
it's always you.
It's always me. Every week I see the thing. If like the other night I was literally in my bed and the thing popped up on my phone and I looked down at it. It had Box One Poppy, and so I'm just there like cracking up laughing.
So. Yo, I told one of my coworkers, he started a podcast recently, and I told him about our podcast or whatever, and he listened to it, and so I just got a random text one day, and it just said, Paul. So I knew he was listening to episode 1.
Oh, those are the worst ones. Don't listen to the new ones. Don't listen to the old ones.
They all good, man. Okay. All of them. As a matter of fact, we made a mistake, and so this is episode 11. So we're going to put that out there right now so I don't forget. But anyway, how was your week, G?
It was pretty uneventful. I must say the school year is wrapping down, and it's the last month of school. And this past week, I was probably late every day, and I took one day off. So, yeah, it's getting real black for me.
Have we ever said what your occupation is on this show, G?
I don't think we have.
We have alluded to it. He works in education.
Okay.
You know, that's really all people need to know.
Okay. Didn't want to leave that out.
One day off the podcast, I need to know what goes down the lounge. That's all I'm going to say. I just need to know what really goes down the lounge.
Hey, man, I learned by my third year, men don't go in the lounge. It's like It's like a stop through. You just swing through there, grab some out the refrigerator, and get right back out.
Okay, all right. And how was your week, Phenom?
Man, my week in Blackness was pretty good. It's pretty black. I think I will share with you a story about going to the car dealership. So, had to go and just get an oil change. And whenever I got my vehicle, they quote unquote threw in the little maintenance package. So, I go in and get my oil change for free. I know I paid for it up front, basically. But saves me the hassle of having to try to go to Jiffy Lube and wait in line or whatever. So I just go to the dealership. Wait, it's a nice dealership. Boom, boom.
Baller.
So, Ryan, from what you have told me about your job, I think my car dealer is in that vicinity.
Okay.
I don't think it's as far south as your job, but it's in that vicinity. And so I went there, and like I said, it's a real nice dealership. Got a little TV, a lounge. They got little fruits and snacks and coffees and stuff while you wait. And so I go in, and I see this black dude, sitting, and he's kind of on the phone or whatever. So I just give him a little head nod or whatever, and I go sit down. I'm watching TV, and there's 2 young white girls, probably like 8 or 9 years old, and they're watching, a kid show on the television or whatever. Their parents car shopping or doing whatever. And so I'm just chilling, you know, on my phone, just kind of watching whatever show they got on TV. So whenever they left, you know, they asked me, they said, hey, you know, do you want us to turn off the TV, or you want us to change the channel or keep it on here or whatever? And I'm like, oh, you could just keep it on there. I said, I'll come and change it or whatever. So they're like, okay, you know, little nice girls or whatever. So after they left, I went, changed the TV on something else, and the black dude got off the phone. And he came over and he's like, yo, man, he was like, yeah, you know, those little white girls, he's like, before you got here, you know, they were just talking to me, having a conversation, you know, they just, you know, chopping it up with me. He was like, I'm not used to that. He was like, especially in St. Louis, you know, where it's so segregated and it's a lot of racial animosity, especially in that part of town. You know, he just wasn't used to the girls being so comfortable talking to him just off the flip or whatever. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, so we have a little conversation about that. And then immediately after that conversation, he tells me, he's like, what kind of car you got? I told him, and he's like, yeah, I got a Ford, what is a car? It's the little wagon that they got. I just forgot the name of it that quick. Anyway, he tells me what kind of car he has, and he says he's a Uber driver or whatever. And I'm like, oh, do you like the car? He's like, yeah, man, I love it, man. You know, man, I love this car. It's so spacious. You know, you could put the seat all the way back, and you could have you a little chick, you know, doing her thing in front of you with her hand on the steering wheel. And I'm like, oh, so like,
what?
We that cool already to where we just met, and you telling me about your sexcapades in your Ford vehicle. So conversation went there. He just telling me all his business about chicks that he had in his whip and how great it is, and suggesting that I should buy one.
For that purpose.
That was my week in Blackness. Just that this brother felt so bonded by seeing another black face in this dealership that he just told me all his business.
I'm telling you, man, if that dude at Target had stopped to say anything to me that day, I probably would have had some personal conversations with him too. That's how it is out there, man. It's rough. It's rough. All right, good to hear that your week went well.
Yeah. What about you?
All right, so my week has been pretty black. Y'all know the NBA playoffs have started, so I am in an NBA game at least one a day, every day.
Yeah.
I know G in there with me, so I'm watching a lot of games. You know, the NBA playoffs take up a lot of your time, so I'm pretty much. I used to back in the day. I would turn off Netflix. I would turn off my HBO. I would put my cable down to basic when the NBA season came on, so that way I could make sure I wasn't wasting no money and just get the league pass and roll with it. But yeah, a lot of games. And the other day I was at the post office. This is unrelated to basketball though. And y'all know they got the little guys that come up or ladies that come up and they want to poll. Ask you a question about, you know, would you sign this poll or not a poll, but would you sign this petition? Petition, yeah, sorry.
Right.
Would you sign this petition? And little dude came up, and I was planning on blowing him off because I had just I did the poll or talked to a lady about a poll before. She had one about banning cigarettes, but not banning marijuana, which I thought was kind of funny. But you know, I had already talked to the lady about that, and I'm like, I don't want to get involved in that, and I ain't want to sign that one. But he came up, and I was like, yeah, what you got? Because I already signed I usually tell them I signed, that way they leave me alone. It's like, oh, yeah, I already signed this one, So, and he's like, oh, no, that's not the one I got. And I was like, man, well, what you got? And he said, let me tell you, brother. He's like, we trying to get people to sign this petition because they want to take down the Black history statues and artifacts that we have, you know, in Missouri. And I was like, for real? I was like, okay. And then I was like, let me read what you got, because I thought maybe dude was just reading the paper wrong, which it can always be misinterpreted. So I read a piece, and it was basically saying, you know, that they didn't want people taking down historical monuments, et cetera, et cetera. And I told him, I said, you know, man, while you telling people that they taking black people stuff down, you know this is used to keep the white Confederate stuff up.
Right.
So I was like, I just need you to know that, man, because I was like, you going out here telling black people this, we probably all signing this document without reading it. And I was like, man, that's not the case. And I was like, if we have, I said, first of all, I don't think we really got that much stuff that would be taken down because it's not offensive to nobody. But I said the things that are offensive that we're trying to take down, if we sign this document, we would therefore forfeit that. And so I had a long conversation with the dude in front of the post office, probably about 15, 20 minutes. Real smart dude, but he was misguided, I guess.
Not smart enough.
Dude was like, hey, man, I'm just trying to make a buck.
But he wasn't like that. Some of them, they are like that. They just out there to get some money. But this dude was serious because he was pretty much like, man, you need to stay woke, man. They trying to X us out of history, man. They trying to do this, they trying to that. I was like, hold on, man. I was like, that's not what this says. You know, and I went back and forth with him, and I was wondering what he told the white people that he went to after he left me, because he went over to 2 white ladies. And I was like, I know you didn't tell them that they was trying to take down black monuments. So what did you tell them?
He probably told him to sign the petition to take down black monuments.
Who knows? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
That Ozzie Smith statue, get it out of here.
Yeah, all y'all people out there, man, when they hit you up about these petitions, please read the top of it. Think about it before you start signing, because people just be saying whatever they want to say. I guarantee that's not the spiel they told him at the petition place.
I never signed none of that stuff. I'm just like,
man,
I'm just like, keep it moving.
I'll sign them if it's worth signing.
I've never seen a petition outside of my post office ever, and at least not in any states I've lived in. Not that I go to the post office that often, but maybe that's
they be everywhere, man. I've encountered them at at a thrift store, the grocery store. It doesn't matter. I see them at different places where I'm at. So one was at Aldi's, the last one I saw. So I was just at the grocery store.
Yeah, I do remember at the grocery store. I do remember one at the grocery store when they tried to switch over from like beer sale, alcohol sales in the grocery stores. Remember that was a big deal.
They never come inside. It's always something they got to get you in the parking lot.
Right.
It's kind of that. Yeah. But anyway,
misguided, man.
Yeah, that was my week, so I was able to put on my Stay Woke sticker and keep it moving. And hopefully that dude listened to me, but I doubt it. He was pretty much like, I was like, man, I ain't signing that, but he wanted to keep going with it. So, speaking of racial bias, so we go from a trick to get us to sign the Keep Up Confederate stuff to Starbucks trying to right their wrongs. We know we had the Starbucks fiasco last week. They arrested the 2 black dudes, blah, blah, blah. Y'all know all the details. It's been all over the news this week. And so the CEO followed it up by saying they were going to close quite a few Starbucks stores on one day and one day only, so that they can get in some racial bias training. And I was wondering what you guys thought about that. Pretty interesting way of handling it by the CEO.
Yeah, it was a good PR move.
Yeah, definitely a PR stunt. But personally, I don't think it needed. It seems like just a lot. But it's a good PR move. But I don't know.
Oh no, you sound like you wrestling with Right Papi.
Right Papi is coming out again. I just don't know if it's net. I mean, like 800 stores, every single.
8,000.
8,000. Yeah, that's even worse. That's even crazy. I mean, like I see the need for us to train for certain people, but like, what are you gonna do? You have all your black people in this. There's plenty of black employees that work at Starbucks. Like, so now they got to sit in this training to learn how to treat themselves. Like, I don't think every single employee should be in there necessarily doing that. I think for certain people, especially the lady whoever called these cops, which was reading more about the story, it sounded like I read the 2 guys, their interview, and they said basically they were in the store for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Went to use the restroom, told you had to buy something. I guess they didn't want to buy something, they just want to wait for their friend, which technically not, kind of outside the rules, but, man, but whatever. You got to give them more than 2 minutes, man. If they ain't bought nothing in 2 minutes, you can't call the cops in 2 minutes. That's just, you got to get up out of here. You got to get fired for that.
The response time for the cops was extra quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's downtown. That's downtown Philadelphia. City Hall is right around the corner from where this Starbucks is at. So I guarantee the police department or the precinct wasn't very far from that either. So, I mean, that makes sense. But just
it was on their way to get around that.
I think the Starbucks bungled the initial response to it, but later on, at least it looks good on paper. Hopefully, it's done enough. I mean, I guess the CEO met with the 2 guys, or is planning on meeting with the 2 guys.
Yeah, he met with them.
Yeah, so I think they've tried to get it right on the back end of this. The training, I guess it's good. I just don't know. Like, do you really need to shut down 8,000 stores to have this training? All these people, like, there's so many Starbucks stores. Do you need it for for all these people when probably a lot of them are black? Are they really need to train their black employees on this stuff?
Well,
I just don't know.
Here's the thing. Like you said, alt-right Papi strikes again. I feel like the response was adequate. It is above and beyond what I expected, because I don't think that many companies or corporations would have done that. So I do commend Starbucks for sitting here and saying, hey, we're going to take this hit. You shut down 8,000 stores in one day. That's a lot of money lost. So they're going to take this financial hit. I do think it was partially a PR, deal where they know, hey, we trying to protect our stock. We trying to protect our customers, yada, yada. But I think that's something that is important. And you talk about, like, the biases. You say it's a lot of black people there. Do they really need to sit into this? Well, black people have biases as well. We have unconscious biases as well. And when I was playing basketball in my group this week, we kind of talked about that. And people were saying the same thing. No, got to fire them, got to get them out of there. These people are biased, blah, blah. And then a guy asked a question. He's like, well, what if you were a Starbucks manager and some, Muslims or Islamic people came in and they had on, the head garments and things like that, and they're like, oh, well, I wouldn't kick them out, I wouldn't call the cops, but I'm gonna watch them closely, and so
racial bias, anybody?
Right, that's biases that we have against, Middle Eastern people because of what we see in the news. So black people have biases, white people have biases, everybody has certain unconscious biases. So I think it's important that we all get training to detect those, to understand and be aware, have self-awareness about those, and to be able to learn how to deal with those, because everybody has them, but you have to be able to work with them in a way where you're not discriminating against somebody or you're not treating somebody unfairly.
I don't disagree with that. I think all that's good. I just don't know. I think this lady was an idiot for calling these cops after 2 minutes. I mean, but is there anything, does she have racist, Facebook posts, anything like that? Is there any other... These two guys did happen to be black. That's unfortunate. But I'm just wondering, is she just an idiot? And she would have called. Would she call the cops on anybody? We don't know. It definitely was that these two guys were black.
We definitely know.
He's definitely alt-right today.
She called because they were black, and that's for certain. And I don't know if it's a Starbucks culture thing. Again, something like that happened in California too, where a guy recorded it. But I mean, this was definitely something that was racially motivated. So you can't white-splain that. All right, Papi, I'm sorry. Not going to let you do it. It's because they were black. That's why they got called 2 minutes into it.
It's okay.
That just is what it is.
It's okay. See, Paul is like Bruce Banner. If you get him in a corner and you start talking about race, then he'll just morph out into alt-right Papi. Normally he's just Paul, right. Just normal Paul. But don't get him in the corner because you don't want to make him start explaining.
Right, and then he don't even remember what happened, like when he was the Hulk or alt-right Papi. He just wake up and he just got a white hood on his head. He's like, "What happened? What happened?"
Well, what's this lighter fluid in this cross in my car? I don't know.
So, but you got something? Well, I'll erase it.
No, I was just saying. I don't think they needed to close the stores down for one day for sensitivity training. I think it was an isolated incident. You get rid of the manager and you move on. But it was a great PR move. So because you had black folks talking about protesting and.
Oh, they weren't talking about protesting. There were people shutting down their store, people outside. They were protesting, and people were running up in the store, too. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yelling at that dude with the bullhorn.
Man,
stop.
Well, yeah.
That was crazy.
He don't.
Yes, he
don't.
Yes, he does.
So, it was a great PR move, yeah.
Man,
I think it was, like I said, I think it was an isolated incident, Like me personally, I'm still going to Starbucks, But I think they should have just got parted ways with the manager and called it a day.
Exactly.
I'm all for the protests and all that stuff like that, but man, there's got to be a line. And just putting a bullhorn and getting right up in a dude's face and yelling at him for something that had nothing to do with it, just because the dude. Man, can you imagine? Like I worked in fast food when I was coming up and poor at Wendy's. And man, look. somebody come up there and protest against Wendy's while I'm working there, and I got to come in there and work that damn shift the next after I didn't do nothing, and somebody put a bullhorn in my face, yelling, man, hey, look, 17-year-old Paul, 40-year-old Paul it would not have gone well. I'm just telling you that.
Paul, I'm with
you.
Paul, I'm with
man,
you.
You can do all stuff outside, but man, you get in my face with that damn bullhorn. Nah, man, it ain't happening.
I'm with you.
Ain't happening.
I could tell you some fast food stories, man. I can't think of a fast food joint I worked that past 2 weeks. I get one check.
Dog, hey,
I get
look,
one
man.
check, and then it's time to look for a new job.
Hey, look, Wendy's 1 month, and look, I had to go get my mom to pick up my last check because I was not allowed up in there, and that's just how it goes. That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes in fast food, and it just when you're that young and you're coming in from rough areas, and yeah, it was me and my boy. Actually, his name was G. I won't say it, but his name was G too, and that dude was extra ghetto, and me and him started together, and we both got fired on the same day.
Wow. So, the thing about protests though is that protests aren't supposed to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Protests have to be uncomfortable. And to keep it 100, Starbucks definitely would not have closed these stores if it weren't for the protests. They knew that they had a serious issue on their hand where the protests would lead to boycotts, which would lead to lost revenue. And so they said, okay, we got to counteract this. We got to do something big. So that's why they shut down the stores, even though y'all are saying, they really didn't need to, because of those protests. That action made them really step up their game. So I'm all about the protest.
I'm with you on the protest. But
I mean, it's got to be loud and boisterous.
It can be loud and boisterous, but do it outside, man. But that if you're doing it in front of my face,
you're trying to make it more comfortable.
He just said go do it somewhere else. He just said go do it somewhere else.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna turn your mic off. All right, Papi.
Go
Get
protest
Paul back here. Where's Paul at?
The sanctioned area, this circle of land that we set over here in the middle of nowhere. You can protest there. Nah, man, that's not the spirit of what protesting is. So I'm gonna defend their right to protest. As long as I have to. So Ryan, did you have anything on this? Because I know we talked about this last week. I don't want to talk about this too long for the second week.
Yep. So I'm just gonna say to close it out that I think it was anytime you're closing stores where you would normally be making money on those days, that's serious. I don't think it's any kind of ploy for to try to I guess it could be seen that way, but I think if you're losing money by closing the stores, then you're trying to do something, and I appreciate the effort to try to do something. Things went bad, lady ain't there no more who was the manager, so we gotta take it as in this situation where the CEO came right out and spoke out on it. It's not like she sat on it for a long time. She said some things that were, I guess, not all the way what we would want to hear, but at the same time, she's learning, and she'll be in her racial bias class too on that day. So let's go on to the next topic though. So
can't wait for this one.
This week,
this one's good.
This news just popped up today. I saw it earlier, and it was just saying, there was a shooting at the Waffle House, and I was just like, oh, here we go again, another shooting. And I literally just read to see how many people died, what happened real quick. And I was like, I'm out. And later on when I came back to look at the notes for the pod, it was on there. And I was like, man, why we got to talk about this? But I read a little bit more. And so Ishmael, I'm going to let you really introduce this and tell about what happened.
Okay, so what happened here is, and as you mentioned, this was at a Waffle House in Tennessee. So maybe, I don't know if Paul's familiar with this area. It's actually near Nashville, Tennessee.
I am.
And a gentleman, I think it was around 3:30 in the morning, gentleman pulled up to the Waffle House.
Naked.
And
Naked.
well, let me back up a little bit. So whenever I first saw the story, of course, as black people, what's the first thing that we do when we hear about mass shootings? We hope that the shooter was not black. and it doesn't, at this point, it seems like it doesn't even matter,
right?
Because most of these shooters are not black. Most of these shooters are Caucasian individuals or whatever in these mass shootings, but that never makes a difference. But we just all still hope, oh, please don't let him be black, because then that's going to be another thing. So I saw the shooter wasn't black, and I'm like, all right, cool. I didn't think he was, but, Nashville, Waffle House. Right. But the biggest thing was, when I saw the story later and saw this link, I see that this James Shaw Jr., the hero of the story, is a young black man. So not only was the shooter not black, but the hero of the whole situation was black.
Yes.
So got that. But so what happened is this shooter comes out, gets out of his car. I've seen that he was naked, and I've also seen that he just didn't have a shirt on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw the naked.
It sounds like he was naked.
It sounds like he was naked. So he had a coat on. He took off his coat. He pulled out an AR-15 style weapon and just started shooting people. He shot like
where did he
people.
Where did he pull it out from if he didn't have clothes on?
He started shooting outside. He started shooting from outside the store.
Oh, he had a trench coat.
Right.
He was naked under the trench. Okay,
He was naked under the coat. Okay. So I guess he pulled out the weapon, dropped his coat off. He shot 2 people outside the store. Then he went in the store and just started shooting people and just shooting indiscriminately. And then James Shaw Jr. said, I saw an interview, he said what he did was he ran, when he saw him come in shooting, he ran back, I guess to the bathroom area or whatever. And the guy was shooting, bang, 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 bang. And then he said he stopped shooting, he had to reload. And so at this point, and I'm going to keep saying his name, James Shaw Jr., saw his opportunity. He said, all right, this guy's reloading. Right now I'm stuck. There's no exits except behind where the shooter is. So if I'm going to make a move, I got to make it now. So he ran towards the shooter, grabbed the gun. This dude burnt his hand up, had big gauze on his hand because he burnt his hand because he grabbed the barrel of his gun that was just fired, wrestled the gun away from the guy, threw it over the Waffle House counter so the guy couldn't have it, and then proceeded to push the dude out the door. Yeah. And he said once he pushed the guy out the door, then the guy just kind of turned and just, ran away or walked away. So
he got shot. He got shot at.
Yeah, he got shot. He got grazed when he was running back to.
When he was running to. I think when he was running toward the guy. Like the guy had finished reloading and lifting it up and got one off, but he was coming at him. And then once he got that one off, then he grabbed the muzzle. That's why it was so hot right then. That's why he burnt his hand and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he definitely got. They said he got grazed. And like I say, his hand was burned. He had severe burn on his hand from grabbing that muzzle of the gun.
Yeah, but you're not telling. Let me, so I put the story in the keep because I was really interested in the story because I didn't sleep last night. I just happened to be up when the story was breaking, and so I caught it. And then I went to sleep, woke back up later, and found out about the gunman. So hopefully this gets me in the good graces of the Black Delegation. James Shaw Jr., a true hero. The cool thing about the story was, first of all, let's just take a minute to honor the man's hairline, which. He looks like he just went to the barber literally right before. He must have went to the barber at 2 a.m. and then went to the Waffle House at 3:30 a.m. Because I mean his hairline is crispy.
It is
and
crispy.
Fresh. He is crispy for like, hey man, if you're gonna make it on national news by just all of a sudden and become like an overnight sensation, you want to have a nice lineup. And this dude went and had a nice lineup right before. So the man's timing is impeccable. Let's just honor that. Then the man's got the fresh suit on. In the interviews, if you've seen him, he's got the nice like cashmere jacket with the turtleneck. But then if you read through the story, the man. Okay, so all this happened. He went to a frat party, I guess. Went to the Waffle House again. I guess he went to one Waffle House. It was with his friends, and it was full. So he went to another Waffle House at 3:30 in the a.m. And like I said, I've been in this area of Nashville because I used to live in Nashville for a few years, and so then they go in there. The incident happens, whatever like that. This man, all this stuff happens. He gets shot. Finds time to go to church at 10:30 a.m. and the mayor of Nashville
anytime you go to church, that's the time you go.
Man, hey, but this dude's hairline's on point, his outfit's on point. Obviously, everything that he did was heroic and awesome, and they should be making an unarmed, might I add. So all this stuff about hey, you have to have an armed guy to take down another armed guy. No, you just need somebody with some courage and some wits about him, and this guy did all that. So he did all these things to a T. And then still finds time to go to church the next day. That's you can't get more awesome than that. This is awesome. So hopefully I'm back in the good graces. Can't sing this guy's praises enough. It's unfortunate what happened to the 4 people, but man, just an awesome story. Awesome story. And I wish he could have got to that dude a few minutes sooner. But we can talk about it later. But man, you guys also need to hear about like this the shooter's backstory and some of the craziness that he did last year. But we can maybe talk about that. In a few minutes or so, man. Just a wild story.
All right, speak on it, G. What you think?
Oh man, I mean, incredible story. I mean, not much more to say. I mean, like, you know, it hit it right on the nail. When I saw the story, I was just like, please don't let this be a brother. And then you find out the brother in the story is a hero. So,
right.
Yeah, it definitely. When I saw it, I also assumed it was a black dude, and I'm like, dang, like man, we done went in and shot up somebody, you know, must have been some gang something. But then once it said it was a AR type weapon, then I was like, you know, black people don't roll with those. Not usually. Usually, if we gonna shoot somebody, we got a handgun, so we already know.
Hey,
so,
but what's sad is to tell the truth. When I first clicked on it and saw the brother on there, I was like,
you thought it was him?
I'm like, this brother shot up a Waffle House for what? And then I started reading, was like, oh, he the hero.
Right. Yeah. When I saw he was the hero, I was like, oh yeah, we definitely talking about this. So I was glad whoever put it on there and actually read the story a little bit more than I did, because I think when I saw it, it was just breaking news, so they ain't had no pictures on there yet. But
right.
So what I really wanted to touch on with the story, and you know, shout out to this brother for keeping it 100. So at the end, everybody's like, yeah, man, you a hero, and he was like, look, I was just being selfish. I was just trying to get myself out. Like, I feel like it's selfish. And, you know, it's nothing wrong with that, because in a certain respect, I think a lot of heroic situations, that's really what it's about, is self-preservation. Unless you're jumping on a grenade or something like that. That's different. But, you know, he was in a situation where, and if any of us are there, I mean, sometimes you got to say, like, you know, how do I want to go out? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to go out just sitting there? I'm going to go out fighting. And, you know, if you're willing to sacrifice yourself, which is really the heroic point of it, if you're willing to sacrifice yourself, though, we can accomplish stuff and stop people from doing these type of things too. You'd rather have 2 people die rather than 15.
When we have these type of conversations, the first thing I think about is 9/11 and the people on those planes, and
yeah,
it just makes me wonder, like, what what were people doing, you know, when they found out what was really going down. You know, and it just makes, you know, I just wonder. I mean, I know you're terrified, but you know.
Yeah, and I mean, with 9/11, the only thing is, I mean, now we think about that, but at the time, nobody had really flown a plane into a building. So
right, so you didn't think that was going to happen.
If a plane gets hijacked, you figure like, they want some money, they probably going to fly around until they get some money, then they're going to land, so you didn't really know what's happening. Now, post 9/11, we have a new vantage point of those type of things. So, you know, you can't necessarily blame those people, but you're right. It does take people being courageous, and, you know, you got to kind of stand up and fight if you have that opportunity.
I wasn't blaming them. I just was wondering, you know, what was going through their mind. But what you just said makes a lot of sense. Because, yeah, you know, back then you wasn't thinking, you know, that would happen. You just was like, okay, we're gonna land some third world country, and they're gonna get paid.
Right.
And worst case scenario, you know, and you don't even leave the United States, you know. But yeah, it's a interesting story, man. I'm glad that the dude can be a hero and was able to do something positive and save some people. You know, unfortunately, there was still loss of life, so rest in peace to them, and prayers and thoughts to their families and friends and everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and at the point where we're recording this, they still have not caught the gentleman. So, you know, hopefully the police can catch him. He fled into the woods naked afterwards. And, you know, one last thing I'll add about it. So, I think Paul was alluding to this before. You know, the guy had some issues. He had been arrested before. He went to the White House and got arrested for trespassing. And they said he actually had his guns taken away, like the state revoked his license for his guns. So they took the guns away, and then they gave him to his dad. And then his dad ended up giving them right back to him.
Which is crazy.
And that's the guns that he used to go and shoot up this place.
Which is crazy.
You know,
so would they get the dad now for murder too?
Probably not, but they need to.
I doubt that it would be murder, but they'll probably charge him for something.
Yeah, they need to go after him for something.
If you know your kid's emotionally unstable and he done try to go meet, because they said he tried to go meet with Trump. He was somehow he got on White House grounds or too close. And so and then they took the guns away, and so now they're trying to chase this dude. He's naked, I guess, or out there somewhere, which is kind of crazy. They haven't found him. It's been a whole day.
How many people were at the Waffle House?
They said it was pretty packed. I guess it was a lot.
So how come nobody stopped this dude, man? I mean, he just shot people. He don't have a gun now. Now y'all can get him.
Man, the dude's naked. The dude's naked. He got guns.
Hey, once he started shooting, they cleared the set.
Yeah, so.
Folks ran, but it's like after James Shaw Jr. took his gun and threw it over the counter, he said he immediately just pushed him out the door. So he basically just walked him to the door. You know, I'm just imagining him having his hands on his chest, just pushed him out the door, and then the dude, dipped out. So it wasn't even an opportunity for anybody else to come and hop in there because he just handled it. And like you said, he was really trying to just save his life and just stay alive throughout the situation. Yeah. But the way he described it on the news is after he threw the gun, he grabbed him and he just pushed him up out the door, and the dude just went on his, just dipped out. So.
Yeah, like them weird movies when somebody wrestling with somebody with a gun and the gun go on the floor and nobody pick it up.
Right.
Like, what y'all doing? Are y'all gonna help this brother or what?
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
In them situations, man, you don't know how to react. You're just fearful. You don't know if you're going to live, you're going to die. So everybody reacts differently. So I'm just glad that he reacted in the way that he did. So
and I could just picture, everybody else ran. I just picture Ghost Town while this was going on.
I doubt everybody could run. They probably in there.
One door. Yeah, there's only one or two.
They were in the store. He the way he painted it was like they were just trapped. Like they were just kind of, on a wall, hiding or, trying to get under a table or whatever. But he said there was no exit, from where the shooter was standing to where everybody else was. Like everybody was just kind of stuck. So.
Yeah, when I just saw that gun go over that counter, if I'm stuck, I'm going for that.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of random and off topic. Never been to a Waffle House ever in my life. Not once.
What?
I don't know how that happened, but I ain't never went, man. Ever.
Man.
Nope.
You slacking, man.
It don't look good, man. I'm big on design, man. When I look at that whack Waffle House logo.
Slice.
Like, no, I'm out.
Slice. Hey, you know what, though? That's funny you said that because I used to avoid Waffle Houses because it looks like a truck stop. But,
it just
it
don't look like nothing where the food would be good.
But once I went in and had them hash browns, I was hooked. Sliced, diced, smothered, covered. Yeah.
My thing is the dude, he goes there at 3:30, has, some food after the frat party or whatever like that, but then goes to church at 10:30. Like, man, I like Waffle House food. I haven't had it in years, but I used to like it in college. But, man, there's no way my stomach could handle going to church at 10:30 in the morning after eating some Waffle House at 3:30.
If you almost died, bro, you're not going back to sleep.
You took the words right out my mouth.
He been praying since 3:30.
Hey,
what you talking about? He couldn't wait for the church to open. He was there
first. The church opened. Right.
Right.
He's like, man, I ain't living right.
Right.
Man, the dude living right. This dude's a hero. They need to make a movie about this dude, and he's got the hairline fresh, the rolly glowing on this picture. Man, this dude's awesome. And
straight out of Wakanda.
Man, hey, yeah, exactly. And look, got a standing ovation from all the cops. I know there's a lot of issues and all this stuff, but hey, maybe it was for the cameras or like that. But hey, look, it was good, man. I definitely made me feel good about this guy.
All right. Well, speaking of the Waffle House, Waffle House definitely gonna get a new patron here soon. My man Boehner, he has evolved. He said on his
get the hash browns. Make sure you get the hash browns.
Yeah, he's evolved on his marijuana stance. So he now is pro marijuana. So he gonna have the munchies, and he gonna probably be over at the Waffle House soon. So let's see. Let's start with G on this one. What you think about Boehner and wanting to change his stance on marijuana?
Well, personally, I'm figuring his stance really hasn't changed. He's just coming out the closet. But no, I don't know. I wonder, is there any money involved in this?
He got a job, and so that's what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Like, I got a job. I got a job with a marijuana company. Changed my mind.
Right. Money will make you change your views on a lot of things.
Right.
So, that's my view on that.
Okay. What you think, Paul?
Okay. So I mean, John Boehner changed his view on marijuana. So like, I personally don't think he ever. I think he's this Boehner, for people that don't know, he was the former, recently retired House Majority Leader for the Republicans. So he basically led the Republicans in the House of Representatives for years and years and years. He was even though he was actually on friendly terms with Obama, he was a major kind of like he was the party leader for the Republicans in the House. So always had to oppose Obama and stuff like that. But it sounds like they were pretty chummy. He's also very legendary for being
Did this dude just
habitual.
say chummy?
He's being chummy, and he's also
one strike.
Look, y'all, you guys are already out. I'm already getting killed every episode on all my views.
That is the first time that chummy has been uttered on the Black Delegates Podcast.
On any black podcast. We're talking about Black Delegates. Any black podcast ever in history.
Right.
And
chummy.
Y'all killing me. Okay, so the dude, he's a big smoker. He's a lifelong, habitual, tobacco smoker. The thing you also need to look. 2 packs a day. This dude smokes. So him and Obama smoked cigarettes. They even made a video that was at the correspondence dinner. I guess Obama's last year when he was there, and he did a thing where him and he was trying to get Obama to smoke, and basically the joke was basically like Michelle will kill him if he does. So it was never shown that Obama took a cigarette, but more likely Obama does have a cigarette every now and then. I can't imagine he doesn't. But anyway. The other thing you know about Boehner is that his daughter is married to a black dude. Not just any black dude. This dude legitimately looks like he could be one of the dudes from Souls of Mischief or something like that. Look, Google John Boehner's.
What is Souls of Mischief?
Right.
A 1990s rap band from the Bay Area.
Man, 2 strikes. If you get the 3 strikes, you off the show for this evening.
This is a black band, dude. What are you talking about?
A rap band. What is that?
Hey man, if you showed me these dudes' pictures in black and white, I wouldn't think they was black. But
hey, what is a rap band?
A white band.
A white band. These guys. Okay. This is going horribly for me. I need to just shut up. Google John Boehner's son-in-law and look at the dude. The dude's got dreadlocks. This dude definitely has smoked weed before. That's all I'm gonna say. So he's got people in his family. His daughter's probably smoked before. He probably smoked before because he's from the '60s. And 70s.
He got on a tall hat, bro. His dress is long. This hat is tall.
Yes, I mean the dude looks. I'm not saying he's dusty. He looks dusty, but hey, that's his son-in-law. I mean, he's obviously that he's in the family. So so this whole evolving issues thing is BS. He's probably had these views, but just like all politicians, they can't really say what they really mean. They just have to wait for the political tea leaves to come around.
Hey, I just googled dude. Yeah, dude.
Put him in the chat. You see it?
Dude looked like he could be related to Bob Marley.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying. That's what I'm saying.
My man smoked a lot of weed.
Yes, exactly. So the views of all this is BS. Just like when Obama's views on gay marriage evolved, quote unquote, they always had these feelings. They just weren't. They were just scared to say it because they were afraid to. People would. Their base would think poorly of them.
Dude,
but
Jamaican.
Now that he's getting paid. Yeah, dude is Jamaican. He is Jamaican. Yes, he's got a Jamaican son-in-law. Come on now.
Yeah, he probably helped change them views.
Anyway, so I'm gonna stop talking because I'm getting roasted here. So Ish, what do you think about this?
Well, I think as far as John Boehner, him changing his views, I think it had everything to do with him being named. He joined the board of this marijuana holdings corporation, Acreage Holdings. So it wasn't until he could make a buck off marijuana, and I think they presented him with this business opportunity like, hey, this marijuana business is booming. It's become, I believe, a multi-billion-dollar business as more and more states legalize it across the country. So I think when he saw, I can make some real bread off of this, And he saw the wind change that, hey, California legalized it. I think Illinois has legalized it, at least for medical. Colorado's legalized it. And all these other states are starting to legalize it. He's like, well, I got the political cover. Exactly. This is the way the country's going. But it's really just about him making money, And I saw this piece on New York Times, and I'll link this also in the show notes. I'm gonna just read this two little short paragraphs that kind of sums this up. So it says, if you want to see an example of staggering hypocrisy in the criminal justice system, consider the contrast between Fate Vincent Winslow, a prisoner in Louisiana, and John Boehner. Let's skip down. It says, a decade ago, an undercover police officer approached Mr. Winslow, a homeless black man, and was asked for help buying marijuana. Mr. Winslow desperately needed the money, so he helped the officer buy 2 dime bags for a $5 profit. For that, he is serving life without parole for the distribution of marijuana in the infamous Angola prison.
Wow.
Last week, Mr. Boehner announced that he will join the board of Acreage Holdings, a marijuana cultivation and distribution company site, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to read the rest of that. But, you got this homeless black man who just helped somebody. He wasn't even selling weed. He took him to the man that sold weed, and he got life in prison. I'm guessing this dude probably had some priors. He had 2 strikes or whatever. And now you got John Boehner, this lifetime political person who's now probably making millions of dollars being on this board of this marijuana company. So that's like the biggest problem now, as we're seeing all this legalization, is that all these black and brown people are still locked up. They're still in prison, rotting away in jail for selling drugs, for smoking drugs or whatever, like marijuana. We ain't talking about dope or cocaine or crack or whatever. Marijuana. There's a lot of people doing life bids, doing 20-year bids, doing 10-year bids. And now all these white folks are starting to get into it now that it's legalized, and they're forming corporations, and they're making millions and billions of dollars. So it's just it's crazy to see that happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you think about that, Ryan.
Yeah, man, I agree. I hope that they look into something where they can vacate people's prior sentences, or at least soften them a bit, maybe time served, whatever, to help them out. I know they still going to be having an issue where they got to try to get their lives back, but I mean, we got to do something for those people, man, because that's messed up. Like it was illegal last year, but now it's not illegal. That kind of thing is going to be happening quite a bit, and I hate to see that happen. But Boehner, he definitely, like I said earlier, he's doing this because a job opened. Let me hurry up and say why it's okay for me to do this, just so I don't get no backlash.
And he doesn't have the political ramifications because he's no longer in office. He's not running for office.
Exactly.
He can do what he wants. Yeah.
And I think even if he felt the way that he felt prior and his feelings didn't change on marijuana, he's gonna say what he got to say to get that job, or keep that job.
But now let me ask you. So we all kind of agree on this, but and we on Boehner's thing in this, but this is I personally think marijuana should be legal. I think there should be restrictions on it. It should be taxed heavily, all these things like that. But I think it should be legal, especially, I've been living in the South for a long time now. I mean, there's a lot of rural areas where they could grow a ton of this stuff. In your state, where I'm living at now, all types of places make a lot of money for why does it have to all be these Western Coast states? But, I think this is at least a good sign that, I think eventually, here in a few years, I think it's going to be legalized, federally. That's really the sticking point, and get these guys out of that have been in jail for a long, long time on these these marijuana charges. I think that's what you got to get those federal laws changed. And so, I think this is kind of showing you a step that it's going to happen here soon. Maybe not under the Trump administration, but maybe more than likely whoever's next, I would imagine.
Man, as a person who doesn't smoke, never smoked, it's nothing worse than weed smoke. The smell of it, man. I know every day I get a daily whiff of weed smoke just driving around. Just normal. With my windows up, it ain't breezy, and somebody gonna pull up and you're gonna get a lungful.
Dog, where do you live at?
I can't imagine how it's gonna be when they legalize it and people smoking it all the time, man.
First of all, hold on, G. I'm gonna answer for you. First of all, this stuff is great. This stuff smells great. What are you talking about?
That is not. No, it's not. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. They're gonna have to send it or something. Make it like cigar smoke. I don't know.
So do you want it legalized or no?
I don't care, man. I think people out here gonna make bad decisions with it, and that's the problem. But other than that,
what is a bad decision?
Like doing stuff while you high instead of being at home while you high. You know,
eating a lot of Captain Crunch.
Same as alcohol to me.
I
mean, if you impaired, whether or not you want to, admit that you're impaired, you're impaired. If it's slowing you down where you can listen to trap music and you think it sounds good, then I don't want you on these streets driving no vehicle.
And this message is sponsored by Alt-Right Ryan. Alt-Right Ryan.
I was just asking, Ryan. I was just asking.
Yeah, I mean the medical, I guess portion of it that is helping people with pain and stuff like that. I'm down with that. Whatever you got to do, man. I mean, we got enough drugs. If we can do something more natural and less harmful to everybody else, I'm cool with that too. But let's just not be out here making bad decisions, listening to bad music.
Listening to bad music.
Yeah, people listen to Chop the Screw. Man, Chop the Screw was only cool because people was high. We know that.
Look, man.
This dude just turned into Mr. Rogers.
Even if they don't, make it legal or whatnot, I think they should just decriminalize it at least.
Yeah, definitely.
If somebody has, marijuana, give them a ticket. Let them a summons. Let them show up to court. Pay a fine or whatever. But to have handcuffs put on you or go to jail or whatnot over some marijuana, I don't agree.
Hey, the messed up part of it is that all the black people who already had enterprises of selling weed are in jail now, and they're not going to be able to benefit off the money that they could have made.
Right.
That's messed up.
Yeah, and personally, I think it should be legal. And I don't smoke weed, but I feel like it's much less dangerous than alcohol. It's much less dangerous than tobacco. Yeah. Those things are legal.
Probably.
So like Paul said, you got to tax it or whatever and get your bread. But I think it should be legal. And it seems like the people across the country are starting to feel that. So we are seeing that tide change. But there's no reason for it to be illegal. I think you still have, laws about, impaired driving or things like that. But I don't think it's going to be any big difference. I will say, though, that I had roommates some years ago, like fresh out of college. I lived with my partners, and like everybody in the house smoked except me. And I mean, I've smoked a couple of times in my life, but I just don't like it. That's just not for me or whatever. But like all my roommates smoked, and it didn't bother me back then. It was like, all right, cool, everybody smoke, whatever. But once I moved out and like got on my own, and I was away from that smoke, like now it's different. Now I'm not as far as Ryan is, but like now I don't really like being around a lot of weed smoke or cigarette smoke or whatever. Yeah. But at the time when I was living with them, like it was cool. So it's just interesting on how your perspective changed, just depending on how much you are around, that type of environment or whatever.
Black Delegation.
I just don't like it. I just don't like it in my clothes.
My thing. Okay, so. Look, Ryan probably knows this, and I'm gonna just keep it 100. In college, oh man, I was on it, dog. I was every week for sure. I was doing this.
No, I did not know this.
Oh man,
this is the first time ever hearing of this.
Oh wait, Brian, you were square, so I
can always edit this out if you want me to, but I have no knowledge of the things that you're saying right now.
Oh, Ryan was never present. Ryan was never present.
This after I left? Where was
this? Freshman year, maybe not so much, but after you left, for sure, like for sure, sophomore year. But even freshman year, I was, man. I just had to know the right people to do it, But anyway, man, once I met my wife, that all settled down because she is definitely not down with it. But, talking to people that live out there in these states where they have, the smoke issue. I mean, hell, you don't have to work with it, man. They put it in food now. So you just go out there and get a brownie and you're good, man. You don't have to smell any of the stuff. You don't have to, it doesn't smell like anything like that. So, I haven't had it smoked or anything like that in years and years and years, way past the statute of limitations on this from me. So I'm safe. But I definitely, I did a lot of dumb things in my life, even to this day. But that stuff, I did some dumb stuff. I think it was just part of being young. But I definitely think alcohol is much worse because just the whole vibe. Like there's just just people get aggressive on alcohol, and it's not that same way with marijuana. At least that I've never seen. I've never seen people get aggressive, and this makes it so much safer because people can go buy this. Because the reality of marijuana is that it's everywhere, man. You can go to any small town in any small town anywhere, North Dakota, New York, big city, small city. It's there. It's prevalent. It's all out there. Why not make it safer? Why have dudes stick you up for $35, $50, $100? It's not worth it, man. Just go somewhere safe. Do your little thing. Do it all legal. Pay your taxes, whatever like that, and just ride on, man. Let adults do what they want to do. I mean, if you're like Ryan, you ain't gonna mess with it. Then we ain't got to worry about you. And other people, hey, if they want to do it, just make sure they do it in a safe place.
Stay at the crib, homie.
Yeah, or what? Yeah, do it. Yeah, that's right. And don't listen to bad trap music. That's right.
Please don't. Well, I guess I shouldn't say trap music. Maybe I should say mumble rap. Maybe I should edit that. Yeah.
All I know,
mumble rap.
Look, if this ever becomes legal in Missouri, I guarantee you Ryan's gonna have the Silk the Shocker, the first Silk the Shocker CD playing.
Hey, Silk the Shocker is a god compared to these dudes now. But anyway. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. Speaking of gods, we're going to talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
Kanye is back after a 1-year hiatus. He had disappeared from Twitter and social media, and I guess he's been taking care of his mental health, hopefully. And so when I saw him, man, I scrolled through his timeline. Brother been just messaging back to back for like 5 days straight. So, Paul, this is kind of your story, man. So, what you want to tell us about this so we can kick off the discussion?
Well, sure, I'll keep it short. But, so Ryan set it up pretty good. Kanye West basically took a long time off Twitter. He used to be really good at Twitter back in the day. He was kind of an interesting follow. But then he just kind of went away. And then he basically just started back up the last few days. And, yeah, like Ryan kind of alluded to, it's been all over the place. A lot of it's been a lot of kind of like these motivational, kind of like what Will Smith and some of these other people, Hulk Hogan, or not Hulk Hogan, Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of do, these kind of introspective, kind of deep philosophical tweets, which I can't stand. So get those out of here. But a lot of it also has been his clothing, some of his clothing ideas, which are, I think I posted a couple of these in the group chat. Did y'all see the sweatpants boots? Did y'all see this?
Yeah, I didn't know what that was. I couldn't even wrap my mind around it.
Yeah, and so like I don't know. I can't really tell, and I don't think that anybody on the internet really knows if he's just trolling us, or he's having fun. What's he doing? But at the end of the day, the long story short, what's going to come out of this is that okay, he's been tweeting all this crazy stuff, a lot of these philosophical debates. A lot of clothing, really ugly looking clothes. But then came out that he's going to have 2 new albums coming out here in a few months. He's going to have 1 solo album and then a guest album with Kid Cudi. So it's going to be him and Kid Cudi on a single album. And then
also 2, oh man, I can't say it. Maybe it's not politically correct. 2 crazy niggas on the same track? Again, that was alt-right Ryan saying that. For a comment, reply all hate mail to hardknockerstl at hotmail.com. But yeah, so 2 crazy dudes on Ryan said that, not me. That was, just make that clear. I'm already alt-right Paul, so I don't want to get any further alt-right than that. But yeah, so that's dropped, and so I'm listening to these tweets, and I'm like, man, this dude, he's just crazy. But I kind of want to hear the music. And part of my brain, the alt-right Paul, part of my brain said, like, just shut up and play music. Just shut up and play music. That's the third strike, bro.
But then, hold on. But then, so literally, as we were getting ready to record this podcast, he sent out a tweet, and he says, Nas, June 28th. I dropped it from my phone just now. Yeah, Nas, June 15th. That's all it said. 1 tweet, Nas, June 15th. And all was right. He's back in my good grade. He can tweet whatever he wants. All the crazy clothes. If him and Nas are on a song and it's banging, I want to hear that. So June 15th, I'm going to be looking out for Nas and Kanye dropping. Whatever it is.
G, you waiting on this Nas to drop?
No.
So what you think about Kanye coming back, man? You looking forward to his craziness or what?
Man, I've been off the Kanye wagon, man. Dude just a little too out there. You know, every now and then, if I catch something on the radio and it sounds good, I'll listen to it. But he's not my biggest fan anymore. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan anymore.
I was gonna say that Kanye know you.
No, I'm not his biggest fan anymore.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
let me drop one of these gems on y'all that I pulled from Kanye's list. Cars have 4 wheels. Hoodies have hoods. It's amusing to me when someone says this is an original hoodie. Bro, it's a hoodie. Man, how deep is that? This is what we've been missing. Missing.
And I forgot the other tweet the problematic tweet he had the other day was he shouted out a black female conservative commentator. I guess she's kind of viewed as alt-right. And so he kind of said he likes the way she thinks. And I guess she's written some problematic articles about Black Lives Matter. So if you think I'm alt-right, Paul, this lady is more alt-right than I am.
I'm sure alt-right Papi knows that.
Hey, and wasn't he going back and forth with her? Like
I don't think so.
Like with some
they went back and forth.
Did they?
Great minds think alike, and
yeah, they did a little bit. And then Kanye said, so one of his tweets regarding that said, people demonize people, and then they demonize anybody who sees anything positive in someone who's been demonized. Bit complex there, but I understand what he's saying. So, yeah, man, I don't really know. I guess I see where he's coming from regarding the alt-right girl. He's just like, hey, she thinks different, and there's nothing wrong with thinking different. So if he says, I like the way you think, like, doesn't necessarily mean that you agree with somebody's views, but those type of people are not usually the ones that we're going to be like, we like the way you think. You know, you can't have a Nazi dude tweeting and then Ishmael be like, oh, man, I like the way you think, dog. Get out of here with that. Like you know who that person is, and you know what they stand for. So don't associate yourself with them in that regard.
But part of me thinks that he's just. I think this is all trolling. Like, okay, he's got an album. He's got 2 albums, maybe even 3 albums coming out in a few months. So I think this is all. I mean, he doesn't. Anything with Kanye West, they know. Like, it doesn't matter what you do on social media. Just as long as it's controversial, it's going to get clicks. It's going to get people talking about like we are, because we're idiots too, talking about this mess. And so here we are.
Kanye ain't
Ish,
got
what do you
troll,
think about
man.
that? Ish, what do you think about that? Are you excited to hear Kanye again?
Oh, absolutely not. Not at all.
The way he said
no shade towards Kanye. You know, I root for Kanye. I wish him all the success. But like G said before, you know, he just went a little bit to the left on me, you know, as far as his music, as far as his fashion or whatever. Like, he's just not in my lane. Or I'm not in his lane where he's making things, so I don't have any disdain for him, but you know, I'm just not checking for Kanye these days. If he drops an album and it's, you know, I might check it out, give it a listen. If it's that, you know, weird Kanye, then I'm probably good.
Was Pablo the last album he had?
Pablo's last one, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that one was trash. But all right, I was just trying to remember which one was the last one.
Hey, dude fell off after college dropout.
No, man, stop it.
No, graduation was still
so much. We'll talk about this on the music podcast, man. Yeah. People starting to sleep on Kanye just because he turned out to be a crazy dude. But you know, he could be weird and crazy all he wants, man. And I don't mean crazy as in you actually have a mental illness. Please don't at me about that. But that's not what I mean. I just mean like a weird character. You know, just because he's this dude, I don't want to throw away his music, man. Dude's musically, he's a genius.
Yeah, I mean, dude's talented, but the weirdness, you know.
Yeah, like I like, what was it, Dark Twisted Fantasy?
Yeah,
I like that album.
Dope.
But then after that, like he just got, like I said, he just went out of my lane. So I don't really want to criticize him, but I'm just not checking for him like that. So I don't think he's trolling here on Twitter. I think he's trying to build up, you know, some attention. He's trying to build up some publicity, and I think he's probably in his creative zone. So now that he's in this zone where he's producing, he's probably writing, he's just in that creative flow. So now he on Twitter, you know, just putting out random stuff. Like artists, that's how they do. Like when you get in that creative zone, then you just throwing different ideas at the wall. So I said more power to him, but I'm not checking for Kanye Kardashian West these days.
Let me ask one question, Ryan. So did you see the picture of the slides that he designed, that he posted on there? Did you see those?
Man, I looked through all those pictures and all those clothes were trash.
Okay,
all the shoes were trash.
If you saw those slides, would you rather have those or the BBB slides for $300?
Those BBB slides were just regular old slides you can get from Walmart with BBB on the front, though. So you got to go with Kanye so you at least get your money's worth, man. It has something different.
Oh, man, but those slides, they look like something out of, like, Back to the Future 2 or something like that. They look so crazy. And, man, look, if my wife ever came in and she spent probably $500 on those sweatpants boots, man, those things would get returned so fast, man. Oh, God. Anyway, some interesting tweets. I am kind of looking for. I'm semi-interested to hear the music because I do like Kid Cudi. I do want to kind of hear that. Just there's got to be a few good songs on there, and then I do definitely want to hear the Nas because I'm a huge Nas stan as Ryan knows. So anything with Nas, I will at least check out to see if it's any good.
Yep. All right. So let's move on. Ishmael, I will let you talk about this one since this is a boxing topic. So, if you don't mind, can you please enlighten us and let us know who Adrian Broner is? And why he's on my list.
I suppose. So, Adrian Broner is a boxer. He has been a champion at various different weight classes. He was really kind of a prodigy under Mayweather. Mayweather really kind of brought him to the forefront. And then they had a pretty big fallout to where, I don't know, now they just have this kind of love-hate relationship where one day they're beefing, the next day they're brothers or whatever. But Adrian Broner, he just came out of that Floyd Mayweather school where, you know, when Floyd turned to Money Mayweather and was doing all this bragging and boasting and yada yada, Broner saw that. He's like, okay, this is a way to, you know, to get my name out. So he always talks big, talks crazy, and he showed a lot of promise at the lower weight classes. But he's going up. His last fight this other day was at 144, I think. It was a catch weight. But as he's going up in weight, he's just not been as effective as a fighter. So had a fight this Friday or Saturday against Jesse Vargas. And I'll let you guys go into, you know, why he's on this list, what he said to get on this list. I don't know, Paul, I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, so yeah, so the fight, and if you want to chime in on this, like it would, I mean, he's Adrian Broner is, you know, definitely a talker, a woofer, you know, talks a lot of trash, but you know, he has some entertaining fights. He's had a lot of entertaining fights against Hispanic boxers over the years, but this one last night. So I guess you correct me if I'm wrong, Ish, but I guess he was losing early, came back and won a lot of the middle and late rounds, but I guess it went to a split decision. So then after it was over, he had some really interesting comments for the crowd. He was cursing. He was making fun of the guy that was interviewing suit selection, I guess it was. He was asking him which fight he was watching. But then there was a part where he was asking him, like, do you want a rematch with the guy? Because he was upset about the draw. And so Bronner says, he says, yeah, I want to have another fight, but we got to do it in my hometown. There's a hell of a lot of Mexicans in here, and they all eating chicken or rice or something like that effect that he said. And so I just thought it was a little funny story. I mean, like, he's kind of a clown, I would say, but I mean, he's an entertaining guy, and so I think some of this is trolling that he does and things like that. But I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think really truly won the fight? If you saw highlights or kind of heard anything about this?
No, I watched the fight. I thought the fight was ruled a draw. I think one judge had Broner winning, and the other two judges scored it a draw. And I agree with that. I think a draw is a fair fight. Like you said, Vargas won most of the early rounds. Broner came and won most of the late rounds. But this is something for anybody who really keeps up with boxing, who was familiar with Adrian Broner. Like, this isn't new. I guess it's novel to people that really don't follow, but he's just always been, like you said, a clown. He just always says racist stuff, stupid stuff. He's just ignorant. I don't like him personally. Like, he's not on my favorite fighter list at all. Like, he's just aggravating to me because he does the stuff. It's not funny. He's been doing it so long. He's just so disrespectful, but you know, it is what it is. It helps him sell tickets. You know, he's making more money because he talks so much than he would, because as a fighter, like I said, as he's going up in weight, he's not that great of a fighter. I mean, he's not a bad fighter, but he's just kind of run of the mill. I think he had a good performance on Saturday, but you know, that interview, to me, you thought it was funny. To me, I was just like, oh my gosh, please get him off of here. But, you know, I guess he gets people buying tickets and gets people to turn on the TV. So, hey, whatever works for you.
And I guess also I should before the fight he had a Twitter beef with Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
Who?
That's the only reason why I knew who this dude was, and I didn't even pay attention to his name.
Yeah, for our longtime listener or listeners, there's probably like 3 of y'all. But if there's 30 long-time listeners, you know that the Brown delegation traded him away like 4 episodes ago for nothing. We wanted nothing in return. But we traded Tekashi 6ix9ine, so they had a beef online. I didn't follow it too close, but I heard about the bet supposedly and things like that. So, but
$300,000. He wrote him a check. Boehner wrote a check out to Tekashi's government name and had it ready for him. And then Tekashi just threw supposedly $300,000 on the floor because that's how he balling. And so he also told him that he better not come to whatever city he live in without checking in. And so Boehner went there immediately after and went to his jeweler, Tekashi 6ix9ine jeweler, spent a bunch of money and was like, I spent more money at your jeweler than you did.
The thing about that is that was all just publicity stunt too, because 6ix9ine was supposed to walk out and do the ring entrance as Adrian Boehner entered the ring. So he was supposed to rap and accompany Adrian Boehner into the ring during the fight. But what happened is one of Tekashi 6ix9ine's partners allegedly, fired a gunshot in the Barclays Arena. What? And so they ended up getting ran up out of there. So he wasn't in the building. Like the security kicked him out. Tekashi didn't shoot, but they said one of his entourage shot a gun up in there. So he could not walk Adrian Boehner down. But they did all this beefing online. Why would he walk? Doing YouTube and Instagram or whatever. But he was supposed to accompany to him the ring. So that was just publicity stuff.
And this leads me to this whole Twitter thing is like this Twitter life is not real. Like all this Kanye and all this stuff, it's all this trolling. It's just all trolling. You don't know what's none of this stuff is. It ain't all what you this is all. Tekashi is like a legendary. I mean, if you follow any of him, he's just a huge troll. And Boehner's arguably a troll too. It's just that's just their personality that they want to take on. So they just it's goofy.
So now I'm upset. Now I'm upset because I feel like now I've been duped, and this fake beef with this fake little rapper is not even a real beef. Come on, man. All right. So the Black Delegation now. I would like to offer a trade of Tekashi 6ix9ine and Adrian Boehner for Rachel Dolezal. If we can get this deal done, it's on the table now. We'll do a 3-way deal. I'm sure Paul will get rid of Tekashi for nothing. Hold on.
So
he's just going to give it to us.
I'm sorry, guys. This is alt-right Paul, and regular Paul has stepped away, and I'm here as alt-right Paul to approve this trade. We will definitely trade you Rachel Dolezal. Bring on Adrian Boehner. Bring on Tekashi 6ix9ine. We're happy to have them. We've got a good boxer now, and we got some good rap albums going on. So we're good. Rock on, guys. Rock on.
I want Rachel Dolezal back on the squad. She has to me redeemed herself by doing black hair in her kitchen. I mean, she's really trying hard. You can't get no blacker than that, and maybe we can use her. She might have those skills.
Is there any question that Rachel Dolezal, if you said kill Whitey, she would not be the first one to pick up a gun and kill Whitey. She would.
I think she
no
would.
question.
Yeah, she would. She's down for us, man. You need those type of people.
Anything that'll get AB off the squad. I'm with it. I do want to shout out Kevin Cunningham, who trained Boehner for that fight. Cunningham was a longtime trainer of Devin Alexander, or is a trainer. Devin Alexander also trained Corey Spinks back in the day. So
I thought dude was
shout
local.
Out to him. You said what?
Yeah, I thought when I heard the name, I thought dude was local. I was like, I heard that name before, Kevin Cunningham.
Yeah, he's from here. I think he moved down to Florida now recently. So that's where he's training out of.
Okay.
But yeah, he's from here. He lived here up until really last year, I think, is when he dipped down to Florida. So shout out to him, man. So it's a cool brother.
What up? All right. So it's about that time, y'all. We had fun, I think. At least I did. So let's see. Ishmael, where can they find us?
Yo, you can find the Black Delegates on Twitter. We are at Black Delegates. There is an underscore between Black and Delegates. If you want to follow Ryan on Twitter, you can follow him at the Black Ryan. And I've been talking about changing my Twitter for weeks and weeks and weeks, and so I have finally done it. I'm just merging. You talked about people coming out the closet earlier. Decided this is going to be my week to come out of the closet, and I'm just giving out my regular Twitter. just my regular Twitter account. Where are we going with this?
Pause.
No, not that closet. Not that closet, brother. We're talking about the Twitter closet.
To admit it.
Talking about the Twitter closet, man. For a long time, I was pumping at Ghetto Phenom, which I still have that, but I haven't even been active on that. So now I am at Ish Creates, at Ish Creates. Easy for you to remember. Go ahead, follow me there. That's my real Twitter account. Got the Black Delegates Pod bumped, so we're gonna get some push that way. Also, if you are on Facebook, then you can follow us at Facebook. We are at Black Delegates Pod. Ryan, where can people listen to the podcast?
You can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and anywhere else you can plug in an RSS feed. Of course, we always appreciate your support, all those that are listening. I do want to throw a shout out to my uncle, OG3. What up, man? I know you listen to every podcast, so I had to at least just say your name on here because that dude, he talks about stuff that was said on the pod, and I be forgetting that I said it on the pod. So I appreciate that, man. It's always fun.
Yeah, I agree. And, I do have, I always got some Paul hate on deck. And I will say, this isn't even new hate.
This is just really old hate, recycled hate.
But I will say that this individual, and this person will remain nameless, they want you to know that they're not just a hater, because they like, Paul always talk about he got haters, just random haters. And this individual's like, I'm not just a hater, I just don't like his point of view. I don't think he is well thought in certain things that he says.
They're
and
right.
Basically,
they're right.
This person called you alt-right Paul before Ryan did. So I think they will be very pleased now that you have been deemed alt-right Paul. So that's all I got to say about that.
I'm getting killed every episode. I gotta rethink my life here. Thank you, hater. Whoever you were, thank you. You made me see the error of my ways. I'm sorry.
All right. So, Phenom, do you have any black podcasts you want to shout out? If you don't, I got one. But
I'll let you go ahead and take it then.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with a pod that I listen to called Think and Grow Chick. Yep, Think and Grow Chick. I was looking up some finance podcasts along with the one I mentioned last week, and her podcast is dope. She's got good advice on financials and starting a business and how to maintain a business. So definitely one you want to listen to. It's pretty entertaining, although it's just her talking to a microphone, but I'll take it. So
all right, I will check that out. Add that to the list because I'm always looking for some good new podcasts.
Yep. So all you guys say your spiel. We don't know them and all that. Because that's cool.
Oh, yeah. We don't know them. We don't owe them. We just like to big up black podcasts and also black businesses. So sometimes we may just shout out a black business instead of a podcast. But something we just want to give back. You see so many negative things about black people, about black businesses, about black people in certain situations. So we just want to give them some props and give them some publicity free of charge. Just from the bottom of our hearts.
All right, cool.
Alt-right Papi, do you have any alt-right shout-outs that you want to give?
No alt-right shout-outs, but people, if you're listening to this episode, I'm going to come back strong and more militant than ever next week. Don't worry. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to redeem myself. If you thought I was alt-right for the Starbucks comments, I'm apologizing right now. I'm gonna have my own diversity day training for myself. I'm gonna have Ish call me and yell at me with a microphone in my ear for a couple hours.
Just sneak in the Starbucks one, bro. Just sneak in the Starbucks. What date are they having that? Just slide in there. You look like you belong.
It's not soon enough before the next podcast. I'm gonna have to call you, Ish, after this, and we're gonna talk. You're gonna yell at me over the phone. I'm gonna get it straight. And next week I'm gonna come back militant. I'm gonna be the new Rachel, the male Rachel Dolezal. I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be him. I'm gonna have and then Ish is gonna kick my ass even worse after that because I'm gonna have a dashiki on for the next episode. And he's gonna beat my ass for real.
All right, that's what's up, man. You beating up that microphone over there. What's going on?
Sorry, I'm getting
excited.
My bad.
Getting excited. All right. So, with that all being said, looks like that is another episode for us. So, as always, tell a friend to tell a friend. If you know somebody that listens to podcasts or may just want to listen to 4 or 3 black dudes and a Puerto Rican, it is not a joke. Just have them listen to the podcast, and they'll find out what's going on with it. So, I guess we'll see you all next week. Peace.
Peace.